And they were not too good like, yeah. And Roland was there. Fighting CSX. Make sure they had access.
Well, I used the coupon. I say, what is he?
He's gonna probably get found by the Senate, those federal transit.
Susie, is that a full leader?
What?
Is that a full leader?
I should say on mine, but don't spill it on yourself.
That's something I would do. So like this and then spill. Holy on Sue.
The agreement for the CSX.
She's literally just reenacted what she said.
Got it.
Did that.
Wait,
That's all right. It's not the worst thing. It's only water.
This person is an action plan.
Oh my God.
Paper towels?
Make sure they
Huh?
get over.
No. Do you have a paper towel?
I can go right to the kitchen.
No, it's really not that bad. It's not that bad. It's fine.
I was quick because I realized it was.
What?
The junior.
Fine. I can, and that, because that would have been any more important.
Only because.
You literally said it and did it at the same. And then I.
Nothing else was relevant because we needed to. get-
I could-
And certain shoulder, I mean.
And then party building the temple.
And then I
Sarah
pushed down.
chair.
I was green.
But I got them both of that. You have to be like. We're both very, you have to kind of figure out which way.
What's going on? And I said, we're not doing nothing again. I don't think it's red.
People have votes, for people, they tend to have someone.
Yeah. My password. The votes
Oh,
don't
some,
help anyway.
I think some, but some of them, it's really,
With the majority.
but yeah. And so the thing that really also struck me is, as I go leave the meeting. On this next Monday. They already have the petition signed up, so they can.
Just at one.
But it's not gonna go well. One underpaid.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah.
We did that. Hi, Bill. Because my aside, it's very long. It's 18. Very painful.
Sounds like I've never heard that one.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please call the roll.
Supervisor Quigley,
Yes, here.
Councilwoman DeGroot,
Here.
Councilwoman Hayner,
Here.
Councilman Van Cleef.
Over here. Are there any additions or changes offered by the town board tonight for the agenda? Are there any individuals here tonight and members of the public who wish to address the board on agenda items? Thank you very much. Communications?
No communication.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in the package tonight, we have budget modifications for the year
2025. They represent the transfers and appropriations required to fund appropriately the transactions that occurred in the months of January, February, and March. Primarily, we're funding the Cherry Hill Water District through an appropriation of fund balance for a new valve that was put in the pit in the amount of $9,516. And we are doing some transfers in the rest of the funds. Mainly, the biggest one is to establish a new line item in the highway department's budget for overtime related to snow plowing, wintertime operations. Previously, that has been budgeted as a lump sum and included in the wages, the 5142.100. We have created a new account, D.5142.101, and funded it with the amount that was appropriated in the budget of $80,000. This will improve the transparency of the reporting so that we can make a measurement of the amount of overtime that is incurred during wintertime operations. So with that, I would ask for a motion to accept the budget mods as presented.
I make that motion.
Do I have a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. This is the point in the meeting that everyone has been waiting for. We are going to hear tonight from the department heads as to the operations of the town effective through the close of business today. I would like to call Mr. John Rose for the Water Department to be the first to report.
Another busy 3 months for the water department. We had 12 mainline water breaks, 134 service calls, and 211 markouts. Birch top is killing us. Two of the larger projects was rebuilding that valve, the altitude valve in the Cherry Hill pit, and at the base of the Cherry Hill Tower. Another challenging job was changing the filter media at the Ulster Water Plant. That was a hard job, and Frank assisted and Vinny assisted with their help. That was a tough job, but it worked well. And our new small tower by the highway complex is completed, filled, all testing is done, and we had our walkthrough with the health department today. So hopefully any day we can turn it on.
Are you satisfied with the completed project?
Yes, Errol did a nice job. It's nice and neat now. Grass is growing. So, yes.
Thank you.
All right, any questions?
No, the water tastes good.
Okay.
I have one question. In Halcyon Park, we had talked about a well rehabilitation because of the decreasing quantities of water. And you had advised me that in the fall, we couldn't get to it because the contractor was backed up with commercial customers. Did that
Yes,
got completed?
Yes.
Okay.
we actually switched to that well this week.
And what was,
It was down to 42 gallons a minute. We get 85 gallons a minute out of it now.
was that the rated capacity when we last?
Nope, when that well was originally drilled, it was 72 gallons a minute.
Okay, so we have a small improvement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I understand you, I'm sorry to say this, spent a lot of time at Rupco.
Yes. Yes.
Is there anything you'd like to talk to the board about on that project?
No, it was handled. Warren assisted me. Dennis came and assisted me. We had some issues that they were installing an electric line right on top of our new water main. So like I said, I called Dennis. Dennis came out. He kind of was the big mediator.
Okay. And the other project on that side of town was Washington Avenue. I understand that that's handled also.
No, they were supposed to start again on Tuesday and they did not.
No, by handled meaning that they have defined the corrective action that if they do the corrective action the way they proposed, you will be satisfied.
You're talking about moving the water main?
Yes,
Yes,
okay.
yes. Did I understand you in this pre-meeting that there's money left over from the Rubco project?
Yes, and right now we have to address the generator. Well, it's not for the water side.
Oh, all right.
It's on the sewer
Okay.
side. We have to address the generator for the pump station. We have to address the electrical connections for the pump station. And then we will see where we are at. But in the pre-meeting, and just so you know, we came in under budget on the 500,000 gallon water tank. And therefore, the $500,000 that we have committed from Ulster County, we're not going to be able to draw the full 500,000 because the 500,000 was limited to 1/3 of the total costs of the project. We're in under budget, we're under $1.5 million. So we're gonna return to Ulster County about $35,000 money that they're gonna put to some other project at that time. I asked them if we could use it for something else and they said no.
Don't return it yet, because I probably got another $2,000 bill for the electric.
And while you mention that, how about the relocation of any SCADA equipment?
That we already did before the project, because it was on that small tower, and we moved it over to the 5 million ago.
Okay, so there's no SCADA upgrade.
I have to think about that, but we probably could put a level sensor in there.
Okay, well, you have the authority then to go ahead and do it.
Okay,
Okay, because the money's in the budget. Now,
and I can have that incorporated to the Ulster plan.
yes.
All right,
Now, the other thing is, did we do a full mixer in that system?
yes,
And that's connected to the SCADA system also?
it will be if,
Okay.
if we're gonna do that, yes.
All right,
Great.
so you got, go ahead.
To you, what was that with the water and the electric?
At
A
the-
project ago, before you,
Down at the quality,
yeah.
we installed a new water line, I don't know, 3-4 months ago.
Mhm.
So we were down there by accident and they dug a trench right on top of our new water line. And we're burying conduit for the electric for this project.
Isn't there guidelines, is they have to be so far apart?
Yes, there are.
I mean,
And they chose,
they chose to ignore those guidelines?
the contractor is not the most.
Is it a local contractor?
Stop before we get in trouble.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I asked you.
No, I don't
No,
want
that's
it.
fine.
I don't want somebody to say you were disparaging his reputation.
But that's fine. Just don't know that water and electric don't mix.
No.
I
And
figured I'd ask.
So went and seen the site contractor who's in charge of the whole thing. Explained our situation, like I said, we called Dennis, our engineer. He came over within an hour. He explained our concerns along with me. And when did we go there? Yesterday, Warren? Yesterday. Yep. And they dug a new trench now. They're at least 10 feet away from us.
The way they were supposed to be to
Yes.
begin with.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Groot, this is, a perfect example of the concerns that Mr. Rose brings to us repeatedly when we talk about Archtop.
Mhm.
Because of the location of the fiber cables in relation to the town's water and sewer lines. Sometimes they pay attention, sometimes they don't. Central Hudson, I don't mind saying that because it's notorious that sometimes their gas lines end up on top of our water lines.
Yes.
And we just have to deal with it because they're a public utility.
What's the red flags for? The red flags that are out on the lawn?
That's usually marks electric red.
Is that what it is?
Usually,
Because today, the guy over on Miller's Lane where Archtop is now took all the little red flags. So he could take the weed whacker and move them off.
Okay, usually red marks.
I just figured that was something
Yellow
that
is
would be
gas.
important since they were red, but I just figured, yeah.
I have one last question. We got a letter back in March from Mr. Moore.
I can't get to that.
No. All I want you to say
The land.
is you got the letter
Yes,
and we're going to address the issue soon,
it's kind of at the bottom of my list.
but it's on your list.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, about the lantern fly.
yes, I will at least tell them it's on your list.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Majori.
Good evening, everybody. Sewer department's been very busy. We've been out surveying, cleaning and surveying sewer lines. This is a project we take on every like 5 years where we, assess any of the lines, the impacts from some of the uses and the conditions of the sewer lines. This also played into the moratorium area. That was the main focus, the 9W corridor. We have cleaned and videoed thousands of feet of line already. We did find a major problem. We had a sewer line collapse. It was giving us some problems. We found that. We repaired that. That was a major job. And thankfully, the town highway department and water department staff as well helped us out, and we pulled together, and it was an all day, all nighter job. I thank my staff. I had guys in at 5 o'clock in the morning doing survey work, and that's when they found it. And we addressed it first thing in the morning, and we didn't finish until the following morning
At 5 or 6 a.m.,
at 8:30 a.m.
8:30, okay.
So I've got guys that were on the clock for 28 hours. So yeah, it was a brutal break, and it was a big job, but we got it done. Our UV system's up and running. So May 1st, our disinfection season starts. So that just got started. We had the company, the factory came down, they sent reps. We went through the whole system, brought it back up to 100%, made sure there was no squawks in any of the equipment or the operation of the equipment. So Trojan Technologies stand by the product. They sent people down. We got it done. Other than that, we have full staff. We have a new secretary in the sewer and water office. She's doing great. She's confident in the upcoming billing cycle, and she's doing well. So she's gotten a lot of backlogs inputted, and yeah, hopefully we have a smooth transition.
Can you give us a brief update on the progress on the digester project?
Digester project is still under design, but our design is near complete, and we're getting in the package ready to go out to bid. That's where we're at now. So we're working on a package to bid all the equipment, to spec all the equipment, bid all the equipment. And then we'll also have to bid all of the work to be done. This is a major job. We're gonna have to hire, outside forces to come in and to perform this work. This is gonna be a long project, expensive project, and we're moving along. I think it's looking really well. I think the system's gonna serve the town very well. Going to save us a lot of money in the long run, and it's going to be a major asset to the town.
The Rubco project also has a component that relates to your department. Have you had any what concerns about how the contract has been executed and the resulting work?
So far, I haven't had any problems with anything going on. I mean, the spec was pretty simple. The line went in smooth. Roars Construction performed the force main work. He did a great job. They always do good work. And, next we'll be starting up starting up the pump station.
Okay. Will you have the district boundary survey done in the Spring Lake District so that we can update the tax assessment roll by November?
I believe so.
Okay. Any questions from Loretta?
What are we doing? What are we doing in the interim, with the digester down? What is the process now? Is
So
it dry?
The digester dam we're still operational for the sludge purpose. We can't contain any of the gas. We can't capture it. We can't flare it. We can't use it. we have to vent it to the atmosphere, that's our only option. So that's the major impact to the system right now.
Okay.
So we're still operating it as we always did, but we can't flare or utilize the gas being produced.
Okay.
But
Can
the
I ask
new,
a question?
yeah.
Go ahead.
the new system, I will just add and remind everybody of this. The new system is an aerobic system, which does not produce any kind of explosive gas. It does not produce methane, which burns.
Mhm.
This system generates its own heat. So we also reduce our propane usage by probably 85%. And yeah, so it's gonna do well for the town.
So everything is more efficient, but where does this gas go now that it's spring and summer? Like, is there gonna be odors or
No,
anything with the gases
No,
being
it's not.
released
It's not
differently?
very
It's not like that.
odorless, no. No, this is,
It is a
it-
sewer.
yeah, this process, the sludge is already broken down, the sludge is being digested, but it's not a very strong odor. The strong odors are when it comes into the plant, when everything is raw. It's not broken down, there's no biological action that's taken place yet. By this stage in the game, it's pretty earthy. That's the word I'll use. So,
So one last question on that, has the DEC made any statements to you about the current operations of the plant as it relates to the venting of the methane?
they haven't commented on that.
And it's
they-
not to your it's to your knowledge, it's not a violation.
No. Yeah, right now, the only comments we've gotten from DEC that our project that we're proposing looks good. And it looks like it should be, a good project, a good fit for the plant. But they aren't able to commit to saying we approve that project yet because they don't have all the documents yet.
They need the final
It's the
design
limit.
drawings.
Yeah, they've made comment on the preliminary and they're in favor of.
Do they come here periodically and check?
They do come and visit.
And do
the
they
plant.
sign off every time they're here?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, so we do an annual, the DEC will perform annual evaluations of all the sewer plants in the town. And they give us a whole,
List of,
yeah, well, they give us an evaluation, a full evaluation. And a score on each topic, on each area.
I just meant since that area has been down for a while, I just figured, I didn't know if they come more frequently or anything.
No,
No, okay,
no, I
Mr.
mean,
Brewer?
our permit is still being met.
okay,
So we're not in any violation. We're not polluting the stream, the receiving stream. We're not, having any issues with permit limits.
thank you,
So as long as we maintain permit limit, DEC is happy.
okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Majority?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Sabia, on the Assessor's Department.
Is that a good volume? Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so some of the key updates for the Assessor's Department. As of May 1st, we filed the 2025 tentative assessment rule. So we had recent staffing, so Megan replaced Mary, Megan Hay, so she transitioned from the building department, was previously the planning and zoning clerk. Her knowledge has been, she had a great value, but she came in with a lot of great existing knowledge, and she's on board with supporting more streamlined processes as far as how we file and how we utilize information and data. So she's been really great to have in the office, a big asset. And on the 2025 assessment rule, I instituted what is known as CAMA. It's called CAMA. It's computer assisted mass appraisal. Essentially, it's a statistical analysis that's run on existing properties So essentially it's implementing property, database and statistical analysis. So it gives us, gives me more control on how assessment is set. And, it's not the same as a reassessment. So in a reassessment, you would essentially collect new property data and realign market value with assessments. This just allows me to have more control on making property assessment changes. And so that has not been done in over 20 years. So that was a big focus, so that I had some control on valuation. Between 2024 and 2025, there was, on the county taxable value, there was an increase of 12,200,000 approximately. Municipal taxable value was increased by 11,200,000. The increase expand the tax base, which can influence tax rates. And according to New York State Department of Taxation and Finance, when assessments increase, tax rates generally decrease unless municipal budgets rise. So, our office has no impact on actual taxes. We just affect the actual tax base. So the upcoming dates and deadlines for the office are grievance. Grievance is held the Thursday after the fourth Tuesday in May, which is this year is May 29th. The final assessment roll follows in July 1st. And moving forward, I'll be identifying some more educational opportunities. So Megan can start taking, kind of getting a rounded perspective of the assessment procedure in the assessment office and identifying, new opportunities for myself as well. And for based on the New York State Department of, or the Association, Assessors Association offers classes each year to kind of inform us on what's going on. So just to keep us both grounded and, aware of any changes. I know there's a new RPS version. We've been working on the same version for probably over 20 years. So I know that's going to be a big focus, switching over to an online database. So that will be kind of the focus for us moving forward.
Any questions for Mr. Sabia?
No.
So you're generally happy with Ms. Hayes' performance?
Definitely, yes, absolutely. Yep.
Very good.
She's been grasping the information fairly quickly, which is great. A lot of statutory dates and things for the processes to remember, really. So it'll take her really a couple rule years, but to really master. But she has been she stepped up fairly quickly.
Can I ask you generally, how long does it take for the county to report to you a change in ownership in a property?
It's typically 2-3 months by the time that the transaction closes.
Are they in any way reporting to you mortgages that are placed on properties?
We do get an update, yes.
Is that more frequent than the one I just forwarded you? Because I just forwarded you to the 6 months ending March, which represents the quantification of the mortgage recording tax that the town should be expecting to receive in June.
I don't know if it's more, I don't believe it.
Okay.
I would have to check and I can get back to you on that.
Trying to get a handle on getting a quicker understanding of the data. Because right now, my perception is that we're going to be behind budget for the calendar year 2025 on mortgage recording tax. Because normally and historically for the last 15 years, the first check has always been the biggest one.
Right.
And then the second one usually is 50% of the first one. If that's the case, we're gonna miss the budget by $100,000 on mortgage recording tax. Absent any of the major projects that are in the way.
Yeah.
Coming to fruition.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Chief Berardi.
Good evening. 2025 has been successful so far.
We've handled 4,831 calls for service so far. It's about 1,200 a month. We're slightly below last year, only a small percentage. We're 188 accidents. We're down from last year. 215 arrests, up from last year. 21 DWI arrests, up from last year, and 636 uniform traffic tickets were down. Detective Division adopted 91 cases. We're up in that aspect. We just completed today our 7th week of our 9-week in-service training cycle. This cycle, we focused on the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure refresher, the DeBoer standard refresher. For those who don't know, the DeBoer standard outlines 4 levels of police interaction with citizens, defining the permissible level of police intrusion based on officers' level of suspicion. So you always go over on the first day of training. It's a 3-day cycle. We always go over legal updates and of those nature and all classroom based. Also part of this in-service training cycle, we focused on EVOC, which is Emergency Vehicle Operation course. We usually do EVOC every 2 years. EVOC is the emergency operation of a marked police unit. Insurance company has looking highly on this over the years as it increases reduces our liability regarding insurance purposes. As well as the 3rd day of training is always firearms qualifications. So we have 2 more weeks of our 3-day cycle, and then we'll wrap it up until the fall. So far this year, we've conducted 4 Operation Safe Child events. That's the public events that we go out to either businesses that host an event, or we conduct one on our own, schools and so on, to issue Operation Safe Child IDs. Those are the IDs that have the child's fingerprint and photo on, and their pertinent information gets uploaded into the database. God forbid a child goes missing or lost. Most likely a parent's not going to be in a state where they're able to remember all the pertinent information, and it increases the chance of finding those children. Our 5 new recent hires are adapting well. They've been implemented. They're assigned to their regularly scheduled shifts. For those who are out at the overnights, 3 out of the 5 of them are on the overnight. So if you might run into them, otherwise the other 2 are currently on the evening shift. Questions, concerns?
We are now in the 2nd month of our EMS contract. Are there any observations from your officers as to effectiveness of the program? If you recall, Officer, I believe it was Killian or Sergeant Bailey, which one of the 2 were?
Sergeant Bailey.
Bailey was in the original with Chief Hefner, as well as Councilman Secreto and Councilman DeGroot during this whole process at the beginning.
The concerns have drastically been reduced. I can see it firsthand. The accessibility of an ambulance for calls for service that either we respond to or we request them is within minutes. So that obviously alleviates our requirement to remain on scene. Prior to this, aside from fire departments respond to calls, 911 was dispatching police units to medicals to hold down a medical until they could find an available ambulance. For fire departments that don't respond to medicals, that's what they were doing. So obviously we still respond to medicals if we have a free car, because we can provide some assistance, or we might be closer to the medical at the time, but they're not our first priority call, obviously.
Any other questions from the board?
I have a question about the number of calls up the Kingston Motel. Have they decreased at all?
Unfortunately, they are increasing as the
As the warmer weather.
warmer
comes?
climate has come about. They're starting to increase. I got a meeting with the Kingston Police Department tomorrow regarding their community response team that we're going to participate with, as well as I'm going to schedule a meeting with the owner of the motel in attempts to try to head this off before summer comes around.
It was quite a volatile thing up there last week when I had dinner, so I was wondering about that myself, yes.
Unfortunately, it's usually one incident that turns into multiple incidents throughout the day. So,
Good luck and safe, I know.
Is live scan operational?
we are doing a test on it this week. We're supposedly going to be the testing, agency.
You always like being first, don't you?
Well, I don't like being last, I can tell you that. So the hope is we can have this up and running within the next week or two. And be able to implement. As our current system is still operational, this obviously is an advanced, state-of-the-art technology that will hopefully, increase the speed of processing criminal arrests.
Any fleet issues?
No, the one unmarked vehicle that we ordered or purchased earlier in the year is in service. It has been in service for several months. The other vehicle that was slated, within the budget is still being built. Haven't contacted them to expected arrival date on that.
Thank you. Unless there's more questions. Mr. Petremont, come on down.
Good evening, everybody. I'll start off with our employees. Our employees are doing good. Everybody's healthy. We did have 2 retire since January 1st. They've been replaced. The replacements seem to be working out quite well. They're out every day. All the roads in the town have been swept. They'll be swept probably 2-3 times throughout the course of the year. We try to keep on them, especially if we're working in the area. We have crews out preparing our roadways for paving. Right now, they're cutting shoulders up on the Old Stage Road area. And they'll be working there down the list as far as what's got to be done. Our roadside mower is out today. We have a new gentleman that's working with us for the summer. So grass is growing. Our other mowers are out on a daily basis, whether it's the town hall, Grand Avenue, the mini parks. And the rest of the crew is doing patchwork. They're up in the Ruby area, patchwork. We had the winter wasn't too easy on our roads, but we'll get them patched up and get everything back to where it should be. Parks or transfer station, everything seems to be running smoothly. No major complaints that we know of. We had an incident where we had to do some work on our roll off, and it was tied up for several days. So the city of Kingston came with their roll off and emptied our dumpsters first. Hope to get another shared service working out well. Parks, all the mini parks have been mulched. They've all been cut. Esther Place had some new swings installed by the request of one of the neighbors in the area that has children. She'd asked that a year or so ago, but we got them this year and put them up. Post Park, we did a bunch of drainage work. We did some paving work. Painting all the garbage cans, put new gates up, and the new signs will be coming, hopefully next week they'll be done. Ryder Park, we have a tenant now, Chris, he's down there on the weekends. It's working out quite well. Right now it's a busy time. For those of you that don't fish, if you want to stop and drive through Ryder Park, you might have a chance to see some 40-inch stripers. The relative of mine caught one the other day off the bay there. So pretty big fish coming up. They'll be coming up in the town. Other than that, I'll be open for any questions.
For the general audience, the signage upgrade that the town board approved recently.
The sign should hopefully be put up next week from Timely Signs. They have the contract to do it. They're installing it. There'll be a small sign before Post Park Road. That'll say Post Park, then a Ryder Park with an arrow for the boat launch. And then we're gonna, right now, the main sign for Post Park is out by Ulster Landing Road. And it's so faded you couldn't see that it was a sign anyway. But the new one will be right down by the gate at the park, at the entrance to the park.
Any questions for Mr. Petremont?
Just Frank, I just want to thank you for the rec.
Orlando Street.
I want to thank, Orlando Street, you give us a report on that, but I want to also thank you for getting the park ready so that the rec committee can do the Easter egg hunt down there. I really appreciate that. You're going to talk about Orlando.
Yeah, we were down Orlando Street. We emptied out the shed that SAS was using for like their office and supplies. So they had moved everything out. We took everything else to the dump or to the transfer station, got rid of it. I did notice that the meter is in place for the new lighting. The meter is still there for the old lighting. So just want to make sure that everything's shut off before we go and take the shed down, which we're eventually gonna do, and put another Connex box next to it. But I'm assuming that when I spoke to the Jimmy Sass the other day, he was unaware. Seth Hudson was supposed to call them, but they didn't. So we just gotta make sure before somebody flips the switch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Sweeney,
I have one question.
Go ahead.
Don't need you. I was wondering if you could put a stop sign on Stickles Terrace coming where it hits Gallus. There's no stop sign there, so a lot of people just fly right out. And I've gotten a few phone calls from people on Gallus.
I put them up. You guys have to put it. It's a regulatory sign, so it's gotta be done by resolution.
Okay, all right,
we'll get a resolution for the next meeting.
perfect, thank you.
Ms. Sweeney?
Good evening, everyone. Just a few things I wanted to go over. First, we close out the year probably about the first week or so in March. We did get all of our reports, the items that the auditors had asked us for, to the auditors portal by the week of April 7th. As for the ambulance billing and receiving, we've billed out for 2 months, or we have received 2 months, I should say. Billing, paid it out, and we received one payment from the town of Kingston. Their next quarter is not due until July. As for the cyber claim, we did briefly talk about that last board meeting, I think. We have been reimbursed for all insurance claims, except we're still waiting on one check for $15,000. We have updated the cash receipts procedure. Any checks that are coming down to my office for deposit, I've asked all departments to copy their checks. There's a cash receipt form that also gets sent down with them. That just covers all bases, making sure that if a check is lost, there's a copy, so on and so forth. The budget process is already started. You have all received the budget request packets that were sent out to the department heads. And I think the only other thing is, which I have mentioned before, starting this month and going forward, we should be right on schedule getting the supervisor's report out along with bank budget modifications and transfers on a monthly basis. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you. Suzanne, do you have anything for the town clerk's office? Yes.
It's been very busy in the town clerk's office. Because of the New York State requirement for real IDs, the deadline is May 7th for domestic travel, air travel. Some people have been needing their marriage licenses to prove their identities, and we've been very busy with issuing those copies to a lot of people. To date, we've issued 59 of those copies to people. Melanie, the deputy town clerk, has returned today from her town clerk's conference in Syracuse. I want to thank the town board again for allowing her privilege to go. She's been filling me in on what she's learned, and that will continue. She's brought back some great things to implement into the office. We had a part-timer for the past 3.5 years, and she has moved on to another position, so I will be talking to personnel at some point in the future to discuss filling that position. We have a few events that I just want to discuss and announce to the public. First, we already had the Easter egg hunt, which was April 19th. It was a great success. We received donations from Walmart, Cars Plus, Stewart's Shops, and Angela's Pizza, so we want to thank them for their generosity. I also want to thank the Highway Department, as Councilman Van Cleek already did. the water department and the police department for their participation in getting the park ready and for just help with that. Secondly, we have the upcoming senior picnic scheduled for August 29th at Post Park. Those tickets will be available in June. Third, the annual bus trip on September 23rd to a playhouse in New Jersey. We're collecting for that, $80 per person at the town clerk's office. We have about 10 seats remaining. Also just today, Melanie had confirmed with the Ulster County Clerk's Office to host another passport event here at the town hall. That is Monday, June 9th, for new passports only. Ulster County residents can contact us to sign up. Also, we are accepting summer camp applications, which I believe Councilman Van Cleef will talk about at the end of the agenda. Regarding tax collection, we have 1 month to go. Our reminder letters were mailed out yesterday, making taxpayers aware that we only have 1 month left to collect. So to date, we have collected 18,606,000, which is about 92% of our total tax warrant. And this is exactly where we were at this time last year. I want to thank all the town departments and the town board, especially our residents and the community. And I want to publicly thank Jason Kovacs, our town attorney, who I've never publicly thanked him before, but he is always there. I emailed him twice the last 24 hours, talked to him this morning. He just is always available if I have questions about especially town park insurance policies to look things over. He never hesitates to just get back to me as soon as he can. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Mr. Van Cleek, is there anything you want to report on recreation?
Sure. That's what we're gonna do at the end. I'll just combine that with some.
Well, yes, if you want to combine it, go ahead.
I'm doing all this right now. Ms. Reedy continues to do a wonderful job with the Recreation Committee. I had the opportunity to sit with them in a meeting, and it was an excellent group of people. And they all stepped up to volunteer for the Easter egg hunt, so that was great. Summer camp, right now we have, as of this morning, there were 25 local residents registered, 10 out of non-residents that we're going to now open it up to them. So at the moment, we're at 35, which according to the records means we're on track about where we were last year. So we think we're going to be fine with attendance. The activity has started to increase in the last couple of days of people trying to sign up. This morning, another Facebook and an email message went out to promote the summer camp. We talked about Easter eggs, the Esopus lights, we talked about that down at the ballpark. And this truly is a back of the envelope meeting we had today. There has come up a question when people are trying to use the ballpark, there's a requirement that they have insurance. And we are just letting everyone know that's required, that tournaments, games, anything down there. If an outside organization is going to be running an event at that field, they have to provide insurance. And I just wanted to reiterate that because that had come up as a question recently, and that is what it is. So that concludes what I had to say. If there's any questions.
Very good.
Let me one more thing. No one signed up for the high impact bet. The
Thank you.
composite bet. So we don't have to
And
worry about it.
that deadline's passed now? Okay, good, thanks.
Very good. Mr. Tutt,
Thanks, Gary.
our building inspector.
He did.
Oh, no, I wasn't here last month.
We know.
Supervisor on board. I'm gonna get on now.
Yes, we can hear you, thank you.
I'll keep this short. Central Hudson is starting on their annex, which is the second building on the new site next week. Prestige Toyota will be starting their addition renovations later this month. Curry Honda is proposing an addition renovations. They'll be appearing before the planning board and the zoning board this month. BOCES upfit is progressing on the iPark site. They are not closing the BOCES in Port Ewan. They are merely adding on the location. Campers World has demolished the old Big Scott building. I say Big Scott, if someone was here, remember where that was. A new building and site plan are before the planning board. No further movement on Chick-fil-A.
The next person that asks when we're getting the Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna send them a target.
This has been a long time coming. Can we hurry this?
I
up?
talked to somebody today, this is Chick-fil-A's, they are notorious for this.
They
They
will-
will take 2 years. And it's on them, it's on
The
them, it's
chicken
not on us.
prices are gonna go up in 2 years.
Need more hamburgers.
For those of you who play pickleball or don't, our new Dink Pickleball in the Dina Marie Plaza will be opening this Saturday, May 3rd. Our staff is doing good and my new clerk has settled in well. Thank you, John and Vinny, for your recommendation. Very good. We had a visit from DEC for a CAB, it's Community Assistance Visit. They randomly go around to towns that have floodplain programs to see how we're doing. Nothing to report. They were fine with everything we do and how we proceed. And to date, we have issued 250 permits, 91 COs, certificate of occupancies, and 350 certificate of compliance. Questions?
And your focus on Rubco.
My focus on Rubco. Unfortunately, Rubco did not do enough preliminary investigation on the building. So every time they turn the corner, they are finding something else out that they have to address. They are in constant communication with me. You know, John had an issue. We went right out there. We discussed it. If anything comes up with any other department, you know, and you have a concern or you need to get a hold of somebody, contact me and I'll get whoever I need to get out there to address it. It's an unfortunate situation. The project will go through. It just may take longer than they thought.
And I hate to bring this up, but I park.
What about it? Which part of I Park?
Okay, we'll just stick to BOCES for now.
BOCES, yeah, so BOCES is taking the entire second floor of buildings, 21, 2, and 3, which is the clock tower. They're taking the entire second floor. At some point, the county may be putting some offices on the first floor. Building 1, I think I reported last meeting that building 1 has been remediated for asbestos. No movement on that building yet. They're still trying to address water issues and power issues.
The reason I mentioned those two projects is because between those two projects, there's more than enough day-to-day demands from the contractors and the owners to keep more than Warren busy.
I have enough work for another full-time person and another part-time person. We'll start with a full-time person. I put a request into county. I have to go through the county list.
So we're trying. Any questions for Mr. Tuck? Go ahead.
Prestige Toyota, what are we doing here?
Prestige Toyota was approved for an addition. So if you look at the front of Prestige, you'll notice that on the north side,
Mhm.
building jogs in, they're gonna square that off. And so basically, it's a renovation for their parts room and customer waiting area.
So nothing going higher. Okay.
But that was all planning board approved.
No, I just figured I'd ask, cause I know with the dealerships all down on 17 and everything, they're going multiple floors, so I thought eventually one's gonna come here, so,
Yeah,
okay,
possibly.
just ask,
You know, and Curry Honda is a very small addition.
yeah. Okay,
That should,
thank you.
Any other questions?
How about your new secretary? Do you have any report on your secretary?
He said she's doing it.
Oh, I didn't hear you say.
He said
yeah, I
she's
actually
doing
I thanked the gentleman that recommended that I hire her, because
I'm sorry.
she was talking to one of another town employee, and she commented to this employee how much she likes the job, so that's great.
I didn't hear him say. your
We're
name.
progressing along, it's a lot to digest in a short period of time of everything that happens, so. But so far, I think everything's working out, as is the new town planner, they're very thorough,
Oh, good, good.
okay? Thank you.
So for anyone who wants to experience the new town planner, there is a planning board meeting on the 13th. It's Tuesday night. And as you've heard, Mr. Tutt, there are a considerable number of projects that anyone might be interested in learning about. So please put that on your calendar and show up. That concludes the department heads for this meeting. I will move on to the scheduled agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, in your packages and has been emailed to you the supervisor's report for the period of January to March 2025. Given that this is the first quarter's report, there's nothing remarkable to to report about. But there is something that I would just like to inform the board of, and that is in the cash report in the schedule supplemental. It basically shows that the town has diversified its deposit base so that we have 51% of our deposits in demand deposits and 48.5% in time deposits, stretching out as far as 2 years. And the reason for that is the general economic conditions that are expecting to have interest rates in the market go down. So it is fortuitous if we are able to lock in future interest rates that will benefit future budgets now before they go down. Interest income represented about $400,000 in the general fund budget in 2024. I think 3 years before that, if it broke $40,000, it was a lot of money. So you can see the importance of maintaining the interest revenue, because every dollar that we earn from interest revenue allows us not to raise taxes by the corresponding amounts, because that money goes to pay expenses, just like every other dollar of revenue. So with that, I would like a motion to accept the supervisor's report as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a report that is prepared under the new United States Treasury regulations for the ARPA program. It is the report for March 2025. It reflects the fact that the town has complied with the United States Treasury obligations, Treasury regulations, in obligating 100% of the ARPA awards to the projects that are listed in the report, mainly infrastructure projects that will defer borrowing and provide additional services to our residents. So may I have a motion to accept the ARPA compliance report?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item comes about from the last meeting. At the last meeting, we had a public hearing on the creation of the ambulance district. This is a statutory step in creating the ambulance district. So I asked for a motion to set a public hearing for Thursday, May 15th at 7:10 PM.
I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. The next item and the last item of business is a resolution authorizing the award for a contract for the emergency cleanup of the property located at 338 Glen Boulevard. This was emailed to the town board on April 17th. This has been an ongoing issue. This is an authorization for the supervisor's office to enter into a contract that we are continuing to negotiate with the contractor on. We spoke about it many times in past meetings. We have been able to get the estimated cost of this demolition project down from the 250 to 300,000 to about 180 to 200, because we have completed the environmental testing and determined how much materials will have to be disposed of as contaminated waste. So may I have a motion authorizing the supervisor to enter into the contract?
I make that motion.
And I will second it.
And for discussion purposes, we are authorizing you to sign it and you're going to wait on that until you believe it's.
Okay, so for discussion purposes as to where we are, the town board is concerned that should we take this action immediately, we will be sued and there could be damages that will affect every taxpayer in this town. There is a meeting scheduled for next Thursday with Mr. Viviani and his attorney to give him one last opportunity to comply prior to us executing on this contract. And this is so that if he sues, which I'm almost certain he will, that we can squarely look in the face of the judge and say, Mr. Judge, we gave him every opportunity to comply with the community's request, and he refused. We had no other course of action available to us to enforce the judgment that the town received from the Supreme Court last November. So that is the justification for our process here.
So if you could just let us know the results of your meeting on,
Mr. Kovacs, is there anything you'd like to add to what I stated on that? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our scheduled agenda. I am happy to open the floor to public comment on any topic that any individual here tonight wishes to address the board on, whether we talked about it or not. Please come to the podium, state your name and your address.
Name is Alexandria Smith and I'm at 69 Sodas Avenue. The walking trail from Chambers School that goes to the kind of like where our neighborhood is, does the town own that or is that part of the school?
The property belongs to the school district.
Okay, because people continually smoke. And my daughter, who is 7 and interesting, walks to school there and back every day. And there's a sign, but it's not posted until at the end where like technically the school ground is. And there's that little apartment complex where people just stand right outside that gate and smoke and tell you how cute your kids are while blowing it in their face.
Thank you. As I said, that walking trail was created in the 1940s when the town was responsible for the school districts for offering educational services. And it was taken over by the Kingston Consolidated School District when the town transferred all the responsibilities and the schools that we maintained to the school district, which they then took over. Are there any other questions for the public in the back there?
Dawn DeLuca, 414 Warren Street. I'd just like to inform my neighbors that there is a bear, a 300-pounder, roaming Fox Run and Sunrise Park. Last night, he took out the feeders at Van Cleek Lane, proceeded to go to someone's house and grab a garbage bag and take it to someone's house at Cora Terrace and eat it under their tree. So they had to clean it up. About 11:30 last night. By 12:30, he was moving northbound behind the houses on Risley Street. I contacted the DEC Wildlife Division, and the result was not very pleasant. I got lectured by the girl that responded to me, informing me that I should not feed the wildlife, the birds, after March 1st. That we should not have anything, that the birds should be able to take care of themselves, which I'm quite aware of. I'm not an idiot. But she then informed me that it was my responsibility to contact all of my neighbors. I should go and hang a sign on their doors, informing them of the bear. That I should inform them to put their garbage cans in their homes so that the bear does not go after their garbage, which is very pleasant since all the neighborhood dogs on their walk pee on the garbage cans. So I'd love to have that scent in my house. They then informed me that I should not put my garbage out until the morning that the garbage man is coming, which some of them come at 7 o'clock. I'm old. I am not getting up at 7 in the morning in my jammies to put the garbage out. They informed me that there is many, many, many things on the website that I could inform the people of to print off on my cost all of these forms telling about bears and how they act. I'm very impressed. The help that was just amazing. They then informed me that I should get a motion detected foghorn.
That's a yes.
They sell them.
To scare them off.
To
To
scare
scare
the
off
bear
the
off,
bear.
because they will not come and take the bear.
But they can't take the bear.
I know they can't take the bear, but I don't think it's my responsibility to go out and purchase motion detected lights and foghorns in a residential neighborhood. I think my neighbors would probably report me. Exactly.
will you be dropping the mic when you're done with this?
As usual.
It's very good. What can we do
Yes,
to
I'd
help?
like
What
to
can we do-
drop them, I'd like to drop them like, thank
Yeah,
you.
what can we do to help? What do you, is there anything constructive we can do? I mean.
I don't know, that's why I'm
Oh,
bringing
okay.
it to
I
the
didn't know, I
board.
didn't know if they
Because
told you
I
anything
cannot
like
go
that.
around and inform every single one of my neighbors.
Right.
Probably shoot me if I hung something on their door.
Can we do something? I mean, I'm not.
We could probably post something on Facebook,
Yeah.
letting residents of the town of Ulster be aware that the bears are coming out of hibernation. And those who live in the areas where bears are prevalent may be expecting a visit.
And
Right, and
given,
what-
given that we have now all these solar farms coming in or possibly coming in, and they're killing off all these acreage of trees. Where are those animals gonna go? They're gonna come into these communities. And we also have some individuals that have left their plastic Easter eggs out in their yard. And for the protection of the bear, I would feel that they should have those things picked up. But am I supposed to go and tell them? I thought that was what the DEC wildlife people were for. That's what they get paid to do.
We have a connection with Cornell. So maybe we can ask them, because they might be able to give us real helpful information. They're helping us right now with emergency procedures. I would consider a bear in the neighborhood an emergency procedure. So. we
He's
can
been
ask-
here, he's been here in May of last year.
Yep.
He was here again in October.
We can see if we
taking
can
out-
get you some, we can see if we can get all of us helpful information from Cornell, because there's been bears all throughout this area.
Yeah, we have, but the bears are
So-
coming out of hibernation and they want to eat. That's
No,
what
I'm
they're
not saying they're not,
doing.
I'm just,
Right.
So that, okay, I'm not supposed to feed the bear.
Right, you're
But
not
does
doing
that
it on
supposed-
purpose.
Does
Right.
that mean I have to rip out my blueberry bushes and my blackberry bushes and my raspberry bushes? They eat those.
They do eat those, but
So,
they took the porch down on the corner of Hillside and Norma Court. They took down the person's porch, getting the 4 bird feeders that they had.
yes, I've had it taken down.
And we sat there and watched the video coverage of the bear literally ripping down the porch, and I'm like sitting there and I'm like, holy moly, can you imagine hearing that in the middle of the night,
Yes,
wondering
I
what
can,
it
because
is?
I was there when they did it.
But it's feeding the bears, and I mean, they're hungry right now.
My friends have a porch that
Yeah.
has 13 steps up to the porch. Their bear that lives in their area went up
smart.
on the porch.
Yeah.
Climbed in through the kitchen window and absconded with the cookie jars.
This
Someone
is-
came out with a baseball bat and chased him off.
Yeah, this must-
All right,
So, I mean.
Go on. thank you. We'll see what we can put out in the public realm.
Thank you.
And what time does the bear usually come around?
That's an unusual thing too. He showed up at 11:30 last night, which when people are still letting their dogs out for their nightly run. And then he went.
I think he's got our shift changed down, so he shows up in the
Last
neighborhood
time
when the
he
police department can't show up.
Yep. Last time he showed up at 2:30 in the morning.
Okay,
He's definitely gotten an earlier start.
thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Tommy, just a second. Go ahead, come on.
9 o'clock. 9 o'clock last night? Yeah, I was making the rounds.
Hi. Sorry,
Do you have
bear.
it there?
Well, actually, I did report a bear and you called and they just said, you sure it wasn't a dog? And then that was that. As he carried the garbage pails into the woods in his
Well,
mouth.
wait a second. This is the individual that
I
puts
know
up with
the
this.
bear.
This is the individual who puts up with the neighbor next door at 338 Glenary Boulevard. So which worse, the bear or the neighbor?
He's a heroine. You did say that, Mr. Viviani could still comply.
Clean up.
Is that it?
We don't expect him to comply.
He's been there.
I know.
Almost every day with the crew. I mean, they're bringing in windows, doors, toilets, sinks. They're really going at it, like,
Well, that's not gonna stop us.
no, but cleaning up would mean what that he would have to do?
First of all, I think you've heard me speak about the fact that we have zoning and he has to comply with the zoning. That property, it was grandfathered because of its use.
Right.
we have now determined that grandfathered use expired sometime back in the early part of 2000, between 2010 and 2015. He bought the property in 2018. So therefore, he does not have the right to use the property in the format that it existed then. So it's up to him to propose a plan to the town for a use of the property that complies with the town zoning code right now.
Like one house.
It could be two, but nonetheless, it is not what is existing there today.
Okay.
Multiple cottages.
You won't agree with that.
But we're on the right path to make sure that we are safe.
Then we can't get sued.
Yeah.
And I did offer to drive a bulldozer, but they won't let me.
No, you can't get sued.
Right, yeah.
Yes, he would do that.
Okay,
He would.
thank you. Tommy Davis.
That's why we keep our, this is, we don't. It's not near their line, our line.
Good evening. My name is Tom Davis. I'm a Ulster Hose Company number 5. And I'm here on behalf of the fire company to invite the town board, all town officials and all town residents to attend our annual Memorial Day services, May 26th at 5 p.m. at the firehouse. Everyone is welcome. There will be light refreshments afterwards. It starts at 5. It usually only goes about a half hour. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
So before we adjourn, Mr. Kovacs, could I ask you to just speak a couple of seconds on your resolution that is going into the for session this next month? Because it has been a topic of discussion over the last 2 months and it involves the EMS services in the town.
Certainly, Supervisor. As you know, I authored a resolution to award $4 to $5 million funding to the various town governments, city government, and the ALS agencies in Ulster County. After several months and many meetings with the Department of Emergency Services, County Executive's Office, we have a preliminary agreement. It will be $4.7 million in funding, $2 million to the various town governments or agencies that work for the towns for ALS or BOS, and $2.7 million for 6 not-for-profit advanced life services agencies across Ulster County. And I am optimistic that this resolution will be on the May agenda of the legislature for approval. So we've made tremendous progress. It's certainly first concrete funding of EMS from Ulster County in the last 15 or so years. So I think it's a great step forward, and certainly appreciate your help, Supervisor, as well as the other town supervisors who have worked with me, and we're certainly moving forward.
I want to thank you personally for taking this battle up. It is a long time coming.
Thank you.
Are there any other individuals?
It's just a quick comment on the bear. Maybe the Daily Freeman could put something in the paper, because I was just gonna suggest that maybe the Daily Freeman could put something in the paper. Because people, a lot of people aren't on Facebook, so if it really is that big of a problem, maybe they could do something.
Thanks. Any other comments from anyone tonight? May I have a motion to adjourn?
You have it. I make that
Second.
motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and we will see you at the May 15th town board meeting.
Is that what you said?
No, she had it.